Tokyo Imperial Palace. Tokyo Imperial Palace. Focus question. What is Tokyo's Imperial Palace and why is it an important landmark? Home of the Emperor. Tokyo is a huge city filled with modern skyscrapers. The Imperial Palace, however, lies in the part of the bustling city. The wooden buildings, stone walls, and lush gardens of the palace grounds reflect the Japan of days gone by. The land the palace sits on is some of the most expensive in the world. The Emperor and Empress of Japan are important of the oldest royal family in the world. The Imperial Palace is their home. Tokyo is located on the main island of Japan. It is an important port city along Tokyo Bay on the Pacific coast. The Imperial Palace is in the central location in the city, near many other important cultural attractions and government buildings. For example, the Japanese National Theater and Tokyo Disneyland are both nearby. The history of the Imperial Palace. The current site of the Imperial Palace was not always home to Japan's emperors. For hundreds of years, a series of military generals ruled Japan. These generals were called shoguns, and they fought each other for power. The emperor himself held very little power during this time. Tokugawa Ieyasu, a shogun in the early 1600s, made improvements to Edo Castle, where the imperial palace is today. Edo Castle was the largest castle in Japan. A fire destroyed its main tower in 1657, and now only the stone foundation remains. People can still see the foundation in one of the gardens in the imperial palace. Tokugawa Ieyasu's rule as shogun began the Edo period in Japan, which lasted more than 260 years. The Edo period ended the revolution in 1968. The revolution gave power back to the emperor and ended the rule of the shoguns. After the revolution, the emperor at the time, Emperor Meiji, decided to move the imperial capital to Tokyo. He ordered workers to build a new palace in the site of Edo Castle. The construction project faced many challenges such as fires, earthquakes, and budget problems. Workers finally finished building a new palace in 1888, 20 years later. The new palace's building had a traditional Japanese design on the outside, but they looked very different on the inside. Although Japan had been insulated from other countries in the past, Emperor Meiji was interested in European cultures. He broke from tradition and chose European decorations for the palace. For example, traditional Japanese dining rooms had low tables. People ate while kneeling on the ground or sitting in special legless chairs. They covered their windows with a rice paper screen and covered their floors with woven straw mats. However, in the new palace, the emperor requested European dining tables and chairs. For the dining room, he ordered cloth curtains for the windows and the carpets for wood floors, as well as more traditional straw mats. Building a palace. The imperial place is surrounded by original stone walls that protected the site in the past. Workers during the Edo period had an unusual method for building the walls. First, they shaped the earth into a narrow stair-like shape. Next, they put down a layer of small rocks. This layer of rock allows rainwater to drain out. Then, the builders projected the stones to form the walls. Mortars was not used because empty cracks between the stones also allow the rainwater to drain. This feature has helped the walls stand for hundreds of years in the very rainy climates. Stone walls without mortar can withstand Japan's many earthquakes much better. The buildings in the palace grounds, including the palace itself, were originally made of wood. In the past, Japanese builders preferred wood over stone because the wooden buildings survived earthquakes better. When workers built the palace again after World War II, they used concrete instead of wood. However, the palace still looks like an older Japanese-style building. The palace that Emperor Meiji built was home to the emperors of Japan until World War II. During the war, The United States military bombed Tokyo. Fires spread from nearby areas of the city and damaged the imperial palace. The Japanese government rebuilt the palace after the war. They finished rebuilding the palace in 1968. The workers used modern building methods, but the new palace looks like it did before the war. Workers have had to rebuild parts of the imperial palace several times throughout its history. As a result, some buildings are only about 50 years old. Other structures, such as some sections of the stone walls surrounding the palace grounds, are from the Edo period. The Imperial Household Agency. The Imperial Household Agency building was built on the Tokyo Imperial Palace grounds in 1935. The royal family lived there temporarily after World War II while the new palace was being constructed. The palace grounds. The palace has 4 sections: the Imperial Palace Outer Garden, the Imperial Palace Inner Grounds, Nomaru Park, and the East Gardens. The Imperial Palace Outer Garden is a public park. The famous Nijibashi building connects the outer garden with the Imperial Palace Inner Grounds. The bridge is only open to the public twice a year. The first time is on January 2nd, so the emperor can exchange New Year's greeting with visitors. The second time to celebrate the emperor's birthday. The Imperial Palace Inner Grounds are not usually open to the public. This section is where the emperor performs his state duties. The Imperial Palace itself contains 24,175 square meters, about 260,000 square feet of space. It is 2 stories tall and has a basement level below. The emperor uses the space for governmental ceremonies. He also meets important people from other countries and hosts dinners there. The emperor and empress home is near the palace, as is their private Shinto shrine. The grounds also have a building where the empresses of Japan has been raising silkworms since 1871. The silk from the empress's silkworms is used to fix ancient kimonos.